You know, sometimes we wake up and it just feels heavy, not because something's wrong, but because life itself feels a little too much. Maybe it's the thoughts that start spinning the moment our eyes open, or the silence that feels louder than it should. We reach for our phone, check the news, scroll through messages, hoping for something to make us feel grounded again. But instead, it all feels noisier, faster, like the world is already running before we've even taken our first breath. So what if, just for a few moments, we began our day differently? What if the morning wasn't just another rush to get things done, but a gentle space to return to yourself, quietly, calmly, and with kindness? You don't have to change your whole life to feel peace. Sometimes it's about pausing long enough to feel the breath move in and out. Maybe that's where peace begins, not in doing more, but in being more present. And if this space feels good to you, if these words bring even a little stillness to your heart, I'd love for you to stay, to join this little corner of calm. Just hit subscribe and let's walk this path together, slowly, one mindful morning at a time. Now let's begin. When you wake up tomorrow, before your feet touch the floor, just sit for a while. Don't rush. Let your body remember that it's alive. Feel the air around you. Hear the small sounds, the birds, the hum of the world waking up. These simple things, they're not small at all. They're life itself whispering, I'm still here. Then close your eyes and take one slow, deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. You don't have to force it. Just breathe as if the morning is breathing with you. You may notice the mind wandering. That's okay. Let it wander. You don't have to control it. The beauty of peace isn't in silencing your thoughts. It's in learning to sit with them gently. Some mornings you'll feel grateful. Other mornings you won't. Both are fine. You're human. What matters is showing up for yourself with the same tenderness you'd offer someone you love. Sit with your coffee or tea, not as something to consume, but as a small ritual, a quiet way of saying, I'm here, and this moment matters. Try not to let the world pull you in too fast. The messages, the news, the noise, they'll all still be there. But the quiet of the morning, that disappears quickly if we don't catch it. Protect it. Let it be yours. This is where peace begins, not in grand philosophies or spiritual perfection, but in the small choices we make moment to moment. And maybe you'll notice something subtle, a soft shift inside you. The heart relaxes a bit. The shoulders drop. The breath deepens. Suddenly, the day feels a little lighter, even if nothing outside has changed. That's the gift of a mindful morning. It doesn't fix life. It simply makes space for life to be what it is. So if you ever feel lost or overwhelmed, come back here. Listen again. Let this be a reminder that peace isn't somewhere out there. It's right here, waiting in the first quiet moments of your day. If this message touched something in you, if you'd like to keep exploring this gentle path of presence and awareness, I'd be so happy to have you with me. Just subscribe, not out of routine, but as a promise to yourself. A promise to keep returning to peace, no matter what the world brings. Because peace doesn't mean the storm stops. It means you found your calm within it. You know, sometimes peace doesn't come easily. Some mornings, no matter how many deep breaths you take, your chest still feels tight. The thoughts don't slow down. The body feels heavy. And that's okay. That's part of being alive, too. Not every sunrise will feel soft. Not every moment will carry calm. But even then, even in the noise and the rush, in the ache, you can still choose gentleness. Maybe you woke up thinking about something that hurts. A memory, a loss, a conversation that didn't go the way you hoped. The mind loves to replay things, doesn't it? It loops, it worries. It rewrites stories trying to make sense of them. But peace isn't about fixing what's broken. Sometimes it's about allowing what is. Sitting there, breathing through the heaviness, whispering to yourself, "It's okay, I'm still here." If the world feels uncertain today, if you feel like you're standing in the middle of something you can't control, try this. Sit by a window and just watch the light change. Let the world remind you that nothing stays the same for long. Clouds move, shadows shift. Even pain changes its shape if you give it time. Maybe that's what healing really is, learning to let things move through you instead of holding on so tightly. There's a quiet strength in that, the kind that doesn't shout or sparkle. It's soft, grounded, real. It's the kind that grows in people who've been through storms and still wake up each day choosing kindness. Maybe you've been that person more times than you realize. Sometimes, when we sit in silence long enough, a strange thing happens. The noise inside begins to fade, and we start hearing life again. The sound of birds, the rustle of wind, the way sunlight lands on the wall. It's almost like the world has been waiting for us to slow down, just so it can say, "See? You were never really alone." And that's when you begin to understand something deeper. Peace isn't a reward for perfect living. It's a quiet companion that's always been walking beside you, waiting for you to notice. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to deserve it. You just have to remember it's there. So maybe tomorrow morning, before you pick up your phone, place your hand over your heart and say softly, "Thank you." Not because everything is perfect, but because you're still here, still breathing, still learning how to love yourself through it all. That's enough. You're enough. And if these moments, these small reflections, bring you even a drop of calm, I'd love for you to stay connected here. This little space is for you. A reminder that no matter how busy or broken life feels, there's always room to return home, to stillness, to kindness, to you. So if it feels right, subscribe, and let's keep walking together through these gentle mornings. Because maybe peace isn't found by chasing light. Maybe it's found by learning to rest inside the darkness, trusting that, in time, the light will always find you again. You know, life has this funny way of testing how deep our peace really goes. It's easy to feel calm when the morning is quiet and the sky is kind. But what about the days when everything feels upside down? When the phone rings with bad news, when someone's words sting, when you wake up and that familiar ache returns, the one you thought you'd outgrown. Those are the moments that ask us not just to talk about peace, but to live it. And maybe that's where real wisdom begins, not in avoiding pain, but in sitting beside it without letting it take all the space. You can let it visit without letting it move in. You can say, "Yes, I see you," and still breathe through it. Maybe that's courage, not fighting the storm, but standing still long enough to realize the storm isn't the whole sky. There's something incredibly human about breaking down and still choosing to begin again, to wash your face, step outside, feel the air on your skin, and whisper, "I'm trying." Sometimes that's all life asks of you, not perfection, not strength, just an honest try. When you slow down long enough, you start noticing small things again. The way sunlight filters through the curtains, how the air smells after rain, the rhythm of your own breath. Those are the tiny doorways back to peace. You don't need to meditate for hours or follow strict routines. Peace lives in the ordinary, in folding laundry, sipping tea, listening to the world wake up. Some days you'll forget. You'll get caught in the noise, the busyness, the constant next thing. That's okay, too. The beauty of mindfulness isn't that you stay centered all the time. It's that you can return when you drift. Every return is a quiet victory, a soft welcome home from your own heart. Maybe right now, as you listen, you can feel a little of that stillness inside you, not a silence that's empty, but one that's alive, breathing, gentle. Let it spread through you, like light slowly filling a room. You don't have to hold it. Just let it be. And as you go about your day, carry that softness with you. Let it touch your words, your choices, the way you look at others. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who know how to pause, how to listen, how to love without rushing. If these quiet moments speak to you, if they remind you of something you've always known deep down, stay with me here. This little space isn't about escaping the world. It's about learning how to live peacefully inside it. So if it feels right in your heart, subscribe, not just to the channel, but to your own journey back to calm. Because peace isn't somewhere you go. It's something you return to again and again until one day you realize it never really left. You know, there comes a point when you stop trying so hard to control everything. Maybe it happens slowly, after years of chasing plans that didn't work out. Or maybe it comes all at once, after something breaks open inside you, and you realize maybe it's not about having it all figured out. Maybe peace isn't found in answers, but in acceptance. We spend so much of life trying to fix, to improve, to perfect our routines, our relationships, ourselves. But sometimes the gentlest thing you can do is to stop fighting what's here, to stop demanding life be something else. You take a breath, look around, and whisper, maybe this moment, just as it is enough. There's such freedom in that, in letting life be imperfect. You stop carrying so much weight. You stop needing to always get somewhere. Instead, you start seeing beauty in the middle of the mess. The cup of coffee that goes cold, the quiet house, the tired body. It's all part of this wild, ordinary miracle of being alive. Maybe that's what the Buddha meant when he spoke about peace. Not a perfect state beyond suffering, but the ability to stay soft and kind, even while walking through it. To feel the pain without becoming it. To love, even when the heart feels fragile. To keep breathing, even when you're unsure what comes next. You see, peace doesn't ask you to erase your story. It asks you to embrace it. Every chapter, every scar, every tender piece of your becoming. Because that's where wisdom grows, quietly, like roots under the soil. You can't always see it, but it's there, holding you steady, reminding you that you're stronger than you know. So, if you're in a season of uncertainty, if your heart feels tired or your path unclear, don't rush to fix it. Sit with it. Pour yourself a warm drink. Watch the sky change. Let the day unfold. The answers will come in their own time. Until then, breathe and remind yourself, it's okay not to know. It's okay to rest. And if these words bring you even a small moment of calm, if they help you remember that softness is not weakness, I'd love for you to stay here with me. Subscribe, not because you have to, but because this space is a place to return to whenever life feels too loud. Together, we can keep learning how to live with open hands and quiet hearts. Because sometimes, the most peaceful thing you can do is simply whisper to yourself, I'm doing my best, and let that be enough. You know, there's a quiet kind of peace that comes when you stop needing life to always feel good. When you stop running from the uncomfortable, the uncertain, the in-between. Somewhere along the way, you realize that peace isn't the absence of pain. It's learning to hold both joy and sorrow in the same hands, without closing your heart. We've all had those mornings when we wake up and something feels heavy for no clear reason. Maybe it's old memories rising like shadows, or just that ache of being human. You pour your coffee, you look out the window, and there's this stillness, The kind that doesn't ask for words, just presence. Maybe that's life's way of reminding us that not every feeling needs to be fixed. Some just need to be felt. And that's the part we forget sometimes, that it's okay to feel. It's okay to be unsure, to grieve, to pause. You're not falling behind. You're just living. Healing is a straight path. It's a gentle returning, again and again, to the truth that you're still here, still breathing, still worthy of peace, even on the messy days. Sometimes the mind will whisper, "You're not enough." Let it whisper. You don't have to believe every thought that passes through. Just because a cloud moves across the sky doesn't mean the sun is gone. The same is true for your peace. It's still there, even when you can't see it. Try this, maybe tomorrow morning. Before you reach your phone, place your hand over your heart. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. That's you, alive, trying, becoming. Whisper to yourself, "I'm allowed to start again today." Because you are. Every sunrise is an invitation to return to yourself, softer, kinder, freer than before. And when you move through your day, carry that softness with you. Let it show in how you speak to others, how you listen, how you treat yourself. You don't need to be perfect to be peaceful. You just need to be present. That's enough. If you found something gentle in these moments, if these words help you breathe a little easier, I'd love for you to stay in this space. Subscribe if it feels right to you, and let's keep building this small circle of calm together. A place where you can always return when the world feels too heavy. Because peace isn't something far away. It's right here, in this breath, in this quiet, in you. You know, I used to think peace was something you had to chase, something waiting at the end of a perfect morning routine or a list of good habits checked off. But the longer I live, the more I see that peace isn't found in doing more. It's found in being here, in the small, quiet choices we make when no one's watching. Maybe that's why mindful movement matters so much. It's not about looking graceful or following any rule. It's about reconnecting with your own body after a long time of rushing past it. Every stretch, every slow step, every deep breath is a way of saying to yourself, "I'm here, I'm listening." You can start simple. When you wake up tomorrow, before you dive into the noise of the world, just stand still for a moment. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the gentle pull of gravity, reminding you that you belong here. Then move slowly. Maybe roll your shoulders, stretch your arms. Take one long breath that fills your lungs all the way. That's it. That's your meditation. You don't need incense or silence or perfect posture, just awareness. I remember meeting a woman once. Her name was Marie. She had spent years feeling disconnected from herself, always rushing, always worrying about what's next. One morning, she decided to take a walk, just one, without her phone. She noticed the sound of leaves under her shoes, the rhythm of her breath, the way sunlight touched her hands. She told me later, "It was the first time I felt alive in years." That's the power of being present. Life doesn't suddenly change. You do. And you don't have to get it right every time. Some days your mind will wander. Your thoughts will rush ahead. And that's okay. Just come back. Come back to your breath, your body, this moment. That's what mindfulness is. The returning, not the perfection. When you start moving with awareness, something beautiful happens. You begin to carry that awareness into everything else. How you eat, how you speak, how you listen. You start to realize that even ordinary moments, washing your face, pouring coffee, walking outside, can become sacred when you're fully there. So tomorrow morning, give yourself that gift. Move gently. Breathe deeply. Feel alive in your own skin. Because peace isn't something you find out there. It's something you come home to, one breath, one step, one morning at a time. And if these quiet reminders speak to something in your heart, maybe hit that subscribe button, not just to follow, but to remember that this space will always be here when you need a little stillness in your day. Together, we can keep rediscovering that simple truth. You don't have to go anywhere to find peace. You just have to come back to yourself. There's a certain kind of magic in the morning that most of us forget. The smell of coffee, the warmth of sunlight spilling across the kitchen counter, the quiet hum before the world wakes up. Yet so often we rush right through it. We eat while checking emails, scroll through news, barely tasting the food that's meant to nourish us. And slowly, without even noticing, we lose touch with the simplest joy, being present for our own life. Maybe that's why the practice of mindful eating feels like coming home. It's not about rules or diets or guilt. It's about slowing down enough to notice, to really taste, to really feel, to remember that every meal is a small miracle. Think about it. The fruit in your bowl came from sunlight, rain, and soil. Hands picked it, packed it, carried it here. The bread on your plate came from seeds, from earth, from time. When you pause for a second before that first bite and whisper a quiet thank you, something inside you shifts. The meal becomes more than food. It becomes gratitude made visible. I remember an old man I met once at a monastery. He said he used to rush through every meal, barely chewing, always thinking of what came next. But one morning, after years of feeling restless, he decided to eat one bowl of rice with full attention, slowly, quietly, as if it was the last bowl he'd ever have. He told me that day changed him. For the first time, he said, I didn't eat rice. I ate peace. And maybe that's it. Peace doesn't always come through meditation or long walks or deep philosophy. Sometimes it's in the way we eat breakfast, the way we chew slowly, the way we look at our food with gratitude instead of rushing to finish. Tomorrow morning, try this. When you sit down to eat, take one deep breath before you begin. Look at your food. Notice the colors, the textures, the smell. Think about how far it's come to reach your plate. Then take one slow bite and just taste. That's it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to eat in silence. Just notice. And you might find something unexpected happens. The world slows down. You feel calmer, more grounded. You start to realize that even this simple act of eating can become a meditation. Because food isn't just fuel. It's connection to the earth, to others, to yourself. When you eat with awareness, you feed more than your body. You feed your soul. And maybe that's the whole point of these practices. Breathing, gratitude, compassion, intention, movement, and now mindful eating. They're not steps to a perfect life. They're invitations to return again and again to the simple beauty of being alive. If these words have brought you a little calm, maybe stay a while. Subscribe if it feels right. Not for me, but for you, as a way to remind yourself that peace doesn't need to be chased. It's already here, waiting quietly between each breath, each bite, each sunrise. So tomorrow morning, don't just eat your breakfast. Taste your life. Feel it. Be in it. Because peace begins in moments like this. Small, ordinary, sacred. You know, the beautiful thing about mornings is that they're not just to start a new day. They're a quiet promise. A whisper that says, you get another chance. Another chance to slow down, to listen, to begin again. And maybe that's why these little morning practices matter so much. Not because they make us perfect, but because they remind us that peace is something we can choose over and over, no matter what yesterday looked like. Think about it. When you start your morning breathing slowly, feeling grateful, moving gently, eating with awareness, you begin to carry a different kind of energy with you. It's softer, calmer, more patient. You walk through the world with a quiet steadiness, and people feel it, even if they don't understand it. It's like you become a small light in a busy world, steady, humble, but strong. Maybe peace isn't meant to stay locked inside you. Maybe it's meant to be shared, not through grand gestures, but through small, human moments. A smile to the person making your coffee. A deep breath before you speak when you're angry. A moment of silence before reacting. Those little pauses are the real practice. They're where compassion begins to grow. I once knew a woman named Elena who worked in a hospital. Every day, she was surrounded by noise. Phones ringing, machines beeping, people rushing. She told me she used to come home exhausted, disconnected. But one morning, she decided to bring her mindfulness practice into her work. She would pause before entering each room, take one slow breath, and silently set an intention. May I bring peace here? Over time, something changed. Her patients smiled more. Her co-workers seemed calmer around her. She said, I realized I couldn't control what happened each day, but I could choose the energy I brought to it. And that's what these practices are really about, not escaping life, but meeting it with a quieter heart. So maybe tomorrow, as you move through your day in traffic, in meetings, in conversation, carry that same peace with you, the one you built this morning with your breath, your gratitude, your kindness. It doesn't matter if the world feels loud or uncertain. Peace doesn't depend on silence. It lives inside you, steady like a quiet flame. And if ever you forget, that's okay. We all do. Just come back. That's what this journey is, coming back again and again to the heart, to the breath, to this moment. If this space feels like a gentle place to return to, I'd love for you to stay. Subscribe if it feels right to you. Not because you have to, but because maybe we all need reminders sometimes. Reminders that even in a world that rushes, we can still choose to move slowly. That even in chaos, we can still choose peace. So take one last deep breath with me right now. Feel the air move in and out. You made it here. You're alive. You're doing enough. And that, my friend, is more than enough. There's something sacred about realizing that peace isn't found in big, dramatic changes. It's hidden in the small, quiet choices we make every single morning. Maybe you've started to notice it too. That moment before the world wakes up, when everything is still, when you can actually hear your own heartbeat. That's where it begins. You don't have to chase enlightenment or perfection. You don't have to follow every rule or get everything right. Sometimes it's enough just to breathe and say, I'm here. Sometimes it's enough to forgive yourself for not being who you thought you should be. Maybe the truth is, peace was never something to earn. It's something we remember, something we return to again and again when the noise fades and the heart opens. And maybe that's what these small morning habits are teaching us, not to escape life, but to meet it with a softer heart. When you wake up with gratitude, you start to see how much beauty is already here. When you sit in silence, even for a minute, you realize that peace doesn't come from outside. It blooms quietly within you. There will still be hard days. You'll forget to breathe, forget to slow down, maybe even forget what peace feels like. But that's okay. That's part of being human. The miracle is that peace will always wait for you, patient as the sunrise, ready to return the moment you remember to stop running and just be still. So as the sun rises tomorrow, don't rush to check your phone or your list of things to do. Just take a moment, one small, sacred pause, and feel life breathing through you. Feel how even now, even here, something gentle is holding you. And if this message finds you in a quiet moment of your morning, I just want you to know you're doing enough. You're learning, growing, trying, breathing. And maybe, just maybe, that's all you ever needed to do. If this space feels like a gentle place to start your mornings, I'd love for you to stay connected. Subscribe if it feels right. We'll keep walking this path together, one quiet breath at a time, learning how to find peace not at the end of the road, but in the middle of the moment. There's something sacred about realizing that peace isn't found in big, dramatic changes. It's hidden in the small, quiet choices we make every single morning. Maybe you've started to notice it too. That moment before the world wakes up, when everything is still, when you can actually hear your own heartbeat. That's where it begins. You don't have to chase enlightenment or perfection. You don't have to follow every rule or get everything right. Sometimes it's enough just to breathe and say, I'm here. Sometimes it's enough to forgive yourself for not being who you thought you should be. Maybe the truth is, peace was never something to earn. It's something we remember, something we return to again and again when the noise fades and the heart opens. And maybe that's what these small morning habits are teaching us. Not to escape life, but to meet it with a softer heart. When you wake up with gratitude, you start to see how much beauty is already here. When you sit in silence, even for a minute, you realize that peace doesn't come from outside. It blooms quietly within you. There will still be hard days. You'll forget to breathe, forget to slow down, maybe even forget what peace feels like. But that's okay. That's part of being human. The miracle is that peace will always wait for you, patient as the sunrise, ready to return the moment you remember to stop running and just be still. So as the sun rises tomorrow, don't rush to check your phone or your list of things to do. Just take a moment, one small, sacred pause, and feel life breathing through you. Feel how even now, even here, something gentle is holding you. And if this message finds you in a quiet moment of your morning, I just want you to know you're doing enough. You're learning, growing, trying, breathing. And maybe, just maybe, that's all you ever needed to do. If this space feels like a gentle place to start your mornings, I'd love for you to stay connected. Subscribe if it feels right. We'll keep walking this path together, one quiet breath at a time, learning how to find peace not at the end of the road, but in the middle of the moment.